All right, so we are in chapter 8. We're going to talk about L'Hopital's rule. L'Hopital's rule is a limit concept here, and if you have something that's considered an indeterminate form, something like 0 divided by 0, infinity over infinity, where you don't know what's going to happen to that result, we can apply L'Hopital's rule to simplify our argument in order to evaluate our limit. So way back when we started these limits, right, we said if you tried to put in the -1, then maybe we've got a factor to simplify, or maybe we've got to use a graphical or numerical approach. We kind of left it at that. So in this example here, right, if we input -1 in here for x, we're going to have 2 minus 2 and then -1 plus 1. So we're going to have this 0 over 0 indeterminate form, and then we were kind of at a dead end. But if we factored out a 2, then we're able to simplify off the denominator and then apply our limit algebraically in chapter 1, and we were okay. Same thing with infinity over infinity, right? We said that, well, it's a tie. We kind of went with the idea of tie goes to the coefficient. So in a sense, we kind of avoided the concept, but it was still there, but we couldn't put infinity in. So you're going to notice as we go through, there's going to be a lot of situations like this. All right, little reading section here, little table technique. So if you're concerned about how this is going to work out, but I'd rather make sure that you know why it works and how to apply some of these concepts. Classic box from a textbook, right? So if we're going to try to take the limit and we have a ratio here, and we are in one of the indeterminate forms, right, 0 over 0, for example, then we can take the derivative of the numerator by itself and the denominator by itself. We are not taking a quotient rule. Notice that we are taking the derivative of the top, stays on the top, derivative of the bottom stays on the bottom, and then we're going to rerun that limit. All right, note, you are not doing the quotient rule. All right, so if we try to evaluate here, for example, 1, right, if we put 0 in for x here, we're going to have e to the 0, which is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So we're going to be in the form of 0 over 0, hence the example. So if we apply L'Hopital's rule, and sometimes I'll write LH so I don't forget that I'm applying the rule, then I'm going to maintain my limit structure. Then I'm going to take the derivative of the numerator and take the derivative of the denominator. I'm going to rerun it. So if I evaluate now, e to the 0 is still 1, but now I've got a numeric answer. And saying if you want to graph this and look what happens as you get close to 0, you will be approaching 2. Okay, so second indeterminate form over here, infinity over infinity. You can imagine if we take the natural log of infinity, since it is an increasing function, you're going to be approaching infinity, and obviously infinity in the denominator. So if we apply L'Hopital's rule, and again, I just like writing the LH, it's nothing you need to do. My derivative of the numerator is 1 over x, my derivative of the denominator. I can simplify this, but if you happen to need to apply L'Hopital's rule again, it needs to be in a ratio format. That's the only way it is applicable. Okay, so if we take infinity in the denominator, right, then we're going to approach 0. Okay, applying L'Hopital's more than once, just as I just mentioned. All right, so we know we're going to apply it. So I'm going to go with getting ready for my limit notation here. We've got a negative infinity. So if I would have evaluated the first time, a negative infinity squared is a positive infinity. A negative infinity with a negative exponent is e to the infinity, which is an infinity. So it starts off as infinity over infinity. If I switch to my marker, I would have a 2x as my numerator, and I would have a negative e to the negative x as my denominator. So if I look to reapply here, I would still have a negative infinity in the numerator, and I would have a negative infinity in the denominator. So I want to go ahead and go through L'Hopital's rule one more time. So I did not run my limit because I anticipated it was going to happen. So now if I take my derivative again, all right, so now if I evaluate at negative infinity, there is no x value here in the numerator. And again, a negative with a negative already there turns positive. So e to the infinity gets very large, but it's in the denominator. So that means we should be approaching a 0. All right, here we're going to be in the indeterminate form 0 times infinity. So now for us to run our limit, and this is just a rewrite. I'm just keeping the square root in the numerator, and I'm going to move the e to the negative x, change it to a positive x, so that I have it as a ratio. So now even if I want to recheck it here, if I put infinity in, square root of infinity is still infinity, e to the infinity is infinity. So yes, the form changed, but it's still indeterminate. The original form is indeterminate. When we rewrite it to apply L'Hopital's, it is still indeterminate. So now if we take my limit as x approaches infinity, and I take the derivative of the numerator, and then I take the derivative of the denominator. All right, so now this is where you may want to just rewrite that because that looks a little ridiculous, let's be honest. So if I rewrite that, that means I've got 2 square root of x, e to the x, all in the denominator. So if I evaluate with infinity, I'm going to have an infinity times an infinity, which is an infinity, but it's all in the denominator. So then my final result is going to be 0. All right, so it says we're going to evaluate, but we're also going to sketch. So I've got my calculator here on the side. I'm going to just run the graph. And of course, I should have changed my limits or my window first. So just taking note, right, we're going from -2 to 8 on this screen. And looks like we're going from -2 to 6 on the y. So then you'll see a little bloop there. And it looks like we're open circle here. And then we're just slow rolling here to the end. All right, so then what happens as we go to infinity? Is this really going to be a flat line? Is it going to approach a value? It looks like we're continually increasing and increasing. Okay, so we are indeterminate form. So now I need to evaluate this as a ratio. So I need to get this x out of the exponent. So the only way to do that is if we had a natural log, because then I can take my x out in front of the natural log, and I can keep my argument the same. Well, if I throw in a natural log, I need to counter that with an e, because now I didn't change the value of the question. All right? So if we do this, now we have all of this information is in our exponent for e. All right, so let's get our limit notation back in there. So I've got my limit as x approaches infinity of x ln 1 plus 1 over x. And we want this to be a ratio. So we're going to take the x. It's easier to take any polynomial and dump them to the bottom. So when I dump them to the bottom, he's really a 1 over x. So now if I check this out here, so if I take my limit as I go to infinity, infinity here in the denominator is going to send this to 0. Natural log of 1 is a 0. Infinity over here is going to send this to 0. So we're still 0 over 0, which is fine. We kind of anticipated that. We haven't done anything yet. We just wrote it as a ratio. So maybe I'll put an LH here so I don't forget. All right, so then my derivative of natural log is 1 over the argument, and then chain rule, multiply by the derivative of that argument. Derivative of 1 is 0. Derivative of 1 over x, so that would be x to the -1. So you bring down the -1 and drop them to a -2. And then again, we have 1 over x, so we just did that. right, so then these, since these are being factored, multiplied together, these are factors, these should simplify off. So we really have our limit as x approaches infinity of 1 over 1 plus 1 over x. So if I take that to infinity, then I should have the value of 1. Which seems a little bit weird, right? Because if we look at our graph, we know it's not going to 1. But don't forget that all of this was the exponent to e. So this really means our result is e to the first, which makes more sense. All right, so we're going to do something similar here. So I'm going to go back to my window. I'm going to go with -2 to 2, and then -2 to 2. I'm going to change my function. So I got, looks like a little bit of a sine curve. I had like a little blip over here. All right, so we know if we put in 0 from the right, it's going to be 0 to the 0. So we're going to do the same technique. So I've got my natural log of x. All of this is to base e. Let's write my limit in this time. Last time I didn't write the limit in. The limit of x natural log sine x as x approaches 0 from the right. Maybe put a grouping symbol here so we don't lose our argument. All right, so then we're going to rewrite it as a ratio. So again, I'm going to have my natural log of sine x in the numerator. I'm going to take my 1 over x down below. All right, and again, this is an approachment concept. So if you're thinking, well, you can't put 0 in the denominator, we're not going to be 0. We're approaching 0, so you have super, super small numbers coming in. So it's like 1 over 100 down here, which is really, in the fraction here, going to be 100. So this is going to be getting larger as we go through. And same idea here. And we know it's going to be indeterminate. We've already figured that out, so we don't need to check it again. So let's just go through and we'll do an LH. My limit as x approaches 0 from the right. So derivative of natural log is 1 over the argument. Chain it. Derivative of sine is cosine. Derivative of 1 over x is -1 over x squared. And maybe we want to clean that up a little bit because that looks a little ridiculous. Okay, so if we, in our numerator here, we have cosine over sine, which we know is cotangent. But if we flip that to the denominator, then that's just a tangent. Why would I want to do that? Because then I can turn this guy upside down since it's a complex fraction, and then it's a -x squared, and maybe it's a little bit cleaner to work with. All right, so now if I've got my -x squared, if I'm putting in a 0, that's a 0. Tangent of 0 is a 0. So let's do another LH, call it LH number 2. So if I take my limit as x approaches 0 from the right, I've got my -2x, derivative of tangent is secant squared. All right, so what if we check that? Well, to be honest, I'm not sure if I remember secant squared. So this is really -2 secant squared to be 1 over cosine squared. All right, so then I guess big picture here, my limit as x approaches 0 from the right is really -2 cosine squared of x. So if I put in a 0 here, this is going to be a 1. And if I put in a 0 here, this is going to be a 0. So this is going to be a 0, right? Because if I have a 0 in here, cosine of 0 is a 1. 1 times 0 times -2 is going to be a 0. Like we said, it's supposed to equal a 1. So this seems a little bit odd. But don't forget, this is why Sometimes people need to overwrite stuff. All of this was an exponent on e. So e to the 0 is 1. So our algebraic and our graphical techniques do match up. All right, here we go, number 7 here. So we have infinity minus infinity. So that's not going to work, obviously. So we need to write this as a ratio. So let's get common denominator. So I'm going to have my limit as x approaches 1 from the right. Common denominator is x minus 1 natural log of x. So then on the left, I've got an x minus 1. On the right, I've got minus natural log of x. All right, let's apply L'Hopital's rule. So I've got my limit as I approach 1 from the right. So my derivative of x is 1. My derivative of minus 1 is 0. My derivative of natural log is 1 over x. My derivative in the denominator is a product rule. So I've got derivative of the first times the second plus derivative of the second times the first. All right, so what happens now if we put in a 1? Let's go through here in blue to see if this is going to work out. So if I put in a 1, I've got 1 minus 1, which we know is a 0, which is not necessarily bad. I've got a natural log of 1, which is a 0, but again, we have a sum there. 1 over 1, and then 1 minus 1 is a 0. So we've got 0 over 0 still. All right, so I don't think we like that too much. So let's clean this one up. Let's get eraser. Let's erase our check. Not really a big fan of the complex fraction, but maybe we'll just roll with it. All right, 1 from the right. So now again, I've got take my derivative. So this is going to be a 1 over x squared because the negative and the subtraction are going to cancel off. Derivative of natural log is 1 over x. And again, we've got a product rule. So derivative of the first is a negative 1 over x squared times the second plus derivative of the second times the first. Again, we could try to clean this up, but I don't know if it's worth it. All right, let's see what happens if we run a 1 through there. We have a 1 in the numerator. We're going to have a 1 plus a negative 1 times a 0 plus a 1 and another 1. So 0 is going to cancel off. So I'm going to have an answer of a half. All right, feel good about that. Go us. All right, these are just some things with addition and subtraction that are not indeterminate forms, so don't be fooled. And just know your indeterminate forms. The common ones are going to be the 0 over 0 and infinity over infinity. All right, we'll see you.